on 6th Avenue and East 4th Street. It's a majestic house. It's architecturally perfect until you walk close to it. Then you see broken windows, you see shutters off the hinges, and it's a place where vagrants live. That, my friends, has happened to the history of the founding of this great city. Some people will point out that Mount Vernon has had its better days. They'll point to the lack of leadership. They'll point to the lack of education in our schools. They will point to all the deficit that we have. But Mount Vernon is a great city. What is missing mostly, more than the taxes, more than anything is the spirit. The spirit of the founders who have difficulties. We can overcome our difficulties if we only believe. All things are possible if we believe. Thank you very much.
For many things. And I've noticed, Mr. Fraley, in all due respect to you as the president of the Chamber of Commerce, that you're very much involved in the campaign of Mr. Young. And I'd like to ask you whether you will be an impartial moderator this evening. Will you? For having this forum, and I'd like to thank you, the audience, for being here. My name is Mayoral. I'm a New York State Certified Public Accountant. I also hold an MBA from the University of New Haven and an honors degree from Brooklyn College. As your comptroller, my staff and I have kept Mount Vernon as one of the most financially stable municipalities in New York State. As a result of this, our city has avoided cuts in essential services, personnel. Unfortunately, the financial stability has not transferred into the improvement of our city from a quality of life perspective. Violent crimes have increased by 6% in the last year. School taxes have almost tripled in the past 10 years. Even though our schools continue to underperform. Our children have very few recreational facilities. Our residents are unable to get the services they need, such as fixing a broken sidewalk or replacing a burnt-out street lamp. There is a sense of despair in our community as our residents wonder if things are going to get worse in our city of 4.4 square miles. The solution to this situation is to elect a capable and qualified individual who has both the managerial and financial expertise to better manage the people's business. We cannot return to our past failures. I will provide a new beginning for Mount Vernon.
Thank you very much. I'm Clinton Young, and I am the mayor of the city of Mount Vernon. form of fiction. The first thing is this. 4 years ago, we were averaging 1 to 2 murders a month in this city. I'm not going to waste time. Let's just get right to it, because the people of Mount Vernon deserve to be given the facts. 4 years ago, we were averaging 1 to 2 murders a month. I've reduced the crime rate, the murder rate, by 87%. 4 years ago, every other day. 4 years ago, every other day, the FBI was in City Hall marching out with boxes. There was crime, there was corruption, there was fraud, there was abuse. We put in the place internal controls. We haven't had that anymore. 4 years ago, our firefighters were living in trailers because the Central Firehouse was mold, decayed, and mildewed. They were living in trailers. Today, they're living in a pristine firehouse. Also understand, 4 years ago, we were borrowing fire trucks from Yonkers, Greenburgh, and New York City. Today, as a matter of fact, we are getting in a new shipment of fire equipment. The youngest DPW truck 4 years ago, the youngest DPW truck 4 years ago was 3 years old. Today we have a new fleet. And the men are happy, Mount Vernon sellers are happy. The streets are clean. Crime is down. Again, this is a form of fact and not fiction. So therefore, you cannot debate whether crime is down. You cannot debate whether the murder rate has dropped. You cannot debate whether there's still fraud, abuse, and scandal in City Hall. So let's keep this a factual discussion.
We have a fantastic controller that's been at the helm for many, many years. My job is to work along with whoever that fiscal conservative person is in that office. And I hope she keeps that job, because it's very important that she be the best. Understanding that it's very, very important that people work together. I don't necessarily have to bring all of the experience of the fiscal conservatism that comes to a city of Mount Vernon like this, but you have to be able to work with people. The controller does not work by herself. The mayor does not work by himself. The council does not work by themselves. They must work together. You have to be responsible. You have to have each one sitting down and negotiating, because there is a board of estimate where the council president is there, the controller's there, and the mayor's there. If they're not in sync when they come to that board of estimate meeting, nothing gets done, and we live in a stagnant community like we've been living in for over 8 years. So I'm not going to bring all of the expertise in being able to financially be able to heal everything in this trying time that the United States and the world is going through. So don't expect me to be able to bring all of that. But believe me, I do have some financial background. I am a businessman, so I do understand finances. But I have to be able to work with people. People out here in this audience, okay? You have some expertise that you can bring to the table to help us 6 months in advance of a budget being put in place. Okay? So if we come and we ask you, if you bring all this energy out here, like you're bringing out tonight, and you bring your expertise to the table, we can work it out. Vote me as your mayor, and I promise to lead you in the right direction. Thank you.
Okay, again, I know we're excited, but if we clap between each question, we will not be able to get through all the questions we have. So I do ask that we keep our applause to the end. Mr. Davis. What steps will you take to grow the city economy? What steps will you take to grow the city economy during economic downturns?
First, let me just say that, and I hope you don't take this out of my time, but Mount Vernon experienced its greatest success with Ernie Davis as the mayor and Maureen Walker as the controller. 12 years, we were the fastest growing city in the country for 2000 to 2007. The mayor has cited some things that he says is facts. I look up the definition of facts and it doesn't fit what he said. I am an architect. The first thing you got to do is you got to get the confidence of the business community. People will not invest in this city the way it is. There are two people that I know, two entities that I know that are suing the city right now. Warren Buffett and the Gizos for the supermarket. That is not the climate that you create to grow your business. Memorial Field is not a good project because it does not grow the business, it does not create jobs, and at the end, what it does is causes the city to carry a facility that cannot possibly pay for itself. That is not the road that you take, ladies and gentlemen. I have been there, done that. Look at Sanford Boulevard. Look at all of the housing that was built. Never before in the history of the city has there been so much activity. So what we would do is work with the business community, make sure that people collapse around good projects, and I think we'll be okay.
Thank you. Ms. Walker. You describe yourself as Mount Vernon's financial watchdog. Please explain your accounting practices that allow for a carting company to submit false invoices in the amount of $1 million. Please verify. Excuse me, please. Let us get through this. To submit false invoices in the amount of $1 million, and please verify whether you personally signed the checks.
Let me first of all say that I am Mount Vernon's financial watchdog.
That's right.
I have proven time and time again. I have been able to work with my staff to make the city a financially stable city. In reference to the carting business, it was my office that uncovered that problem.
That's right.
Because of my financial astuteness and because of my auditing background, I sat with the mayor, who was the mayor then. I sat with the department heads at that time and told them that something was wrong. And they all said I didn't know what I was talking about. And so my staff and I sat behind closed doors, audited the bills, which were signed by the department head, and ultimately signed by my department. And we audited all those bills, and we realized that there was something wrong in terms of bloated invoices. Being an auditor, you make sure that you go out and you do all of your test work first. And after we found that, then we decided to take it to a higher authority, which was the law enforcement. And as you know, there were people who ultimately got incarcerated for that.
Isn't it, Mr. Young, isn't it a fact that the new DPW trucks, police vehicles, and fire department vehicles were purchased with bonds, which in turn will be a cost to the taxpayers of this city?
Yes, but because my name was called, I get time to respond. The fact of the matter is, prior to January 1st, 2008, there was fraud, corruption, and abuse in City Hall.
Corruption.
We lost the Section 8 program, not under Clinton Young. We would find close to $2.5 million, not under Clinton Young. The money, it's good to close the window after the money goes out. You understand? But understand we're still responsible. It was your tax dollars, close to $4 million of your money that was defrauded from this city. Now to answer the question. The question is this. Yes, indeed, the new fire trucks, the police equipment was done through the bonding process, our capital projects program. They were in need. You have to understand, why put good money after bad? The oldest truck, as I said, the youngest truck was close to 30 years old. It was spending more time in the repair shop than it was cleaning your streets. You see? So I'm saying that not only cost repairs, but it was overtime that is costing you as taxpayers money. The prudent decision was to replace the fleet to make it more efficient, in order that we can have a cost-effective DPW department. And again, we have the new trucks that have been working well, not spending time in the shops. And yes, indeed, that will be paid over a 15-year period.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure everyone understands why Mr. Young got additional time. That is because he was called out by another candidate, and according to our guidelines, we do allow a 1-minute rebuttal. We do request, however, that you ask the moderator first. Thank you. Okay. Our next question will be one question for all 4 candidates to answer. Again, you'll get 1 minute to respond. I'll repeat the question in between. I love technology. If you became mayor, would you agree to an annual performance review that would be created and conducted between yourself and a select number of residents from the community?
Yes, I would consider that, because I think if enough people from the community ask for certain things, then we need to consider them. Okay? We do have an HR, a human resources department that is up and running, and hopefully we can get it to become more professional in doing those reviews annually. But if the citizens say they want something, we will consider it. Understand that there is also a city council, okay? Certain things should go through the city council as a 5-member body, as the watchdog for you, all right? So a lot of things we won't be asking the citizens to come out, but believe me, you have a forum twice a month that you can come and bring your concerns, and then we have approximately 2 weeks to find out more about what you're asking for, and then we will be able to bring to your attention if it's a feasible idea, and if it's feasible, I promise that we will do that. Thank you.
Would you repeat the question, please?
Would you be, if you were elected mayor, would you be willing to submit to a personal performance review by a concerned citizens, by a committee of concerned citizens every year?
A drug test?
That is a process already. I don't understand. You have hearings where the public comes in and they make consideration. Do you mean an ongoing participation in the budgetary process?
It would be a personal mayoral performance review that would be created and conducted between yourself and a select number of residents from the community, like a corporation would do for an employee.
Well, that's an open-ended question, and before I would just agree to that, I would have to have more documentation clarification. We have checks and balances right now that the people should be aware of. When a budget is put out, there are two hearings. One is the Board of Estimate contract, and one is the City Council. So we have the review. I think what we need to do is have more participation from the public to have their input put in. But to add another layer, I don't think have the budgetary process.
Okay. If you became mayor, would you agree to an annual performance review that would be created and conducted between yourself and a select number of residents from the community?
I have no problem having that done. As the controller, I am under a review by the people of the city, and I have passed with flying colors. They have allowed me to be re-elected 5 times, so I must be doing something right. That's the review that the people of the city have done. And I will do that. When I become mayor, that will not be a problem.
As mayor, your performance is evaluated every day.
His review is coming.
Every day, not once annually, but every day. There's a wide range. There's a wide range of needs and issues that face the mayoral office every day. People come in every day. They call every day, needing some type of attention every day. I have an open door policy. You can call the office and get 15 minutes with the mayor anytime. Even though you've never taken advantage. And I'm saying to you, that evaluation process is daily.
Right, baby. Bullshit. Tough girl.
Thank you. Mr. Edwards. I'm going to ask you to quiet down so everyone can hear the questions. And please keep the comments to yourself. Mr. Edwards, you served honorably during the war and are a decorated veteran. During your 2 decades of During your 2 decades of service in the city government, what specifically did you accomplish that will qualify you as a candidate for mayor of Vernon?
Being a Vietnam veteran, being in the military, we understood that you had to be together. If you want to win a war, if you want someone to save your life, you have to make sure someone was around you that were dedicated to the cause and dedicated to the mission. I have been dedicated to the mission of the city of Mount Vernon since I've been here. Like I said, we started a youth organization. I helped to start associations because I found out without associations, with every block by block mobilization, there is no city of Mount Vernon. Right now, we have a separated city. I would like this city to become one because we are probably the most powerful city in the United States, if not the world, pound by pound. But I want to bring that potential out. Like I said earlier, I saw the potential in Mount Vernon. I see the potential slipping away. But I promise you, I can unite this city. In October, there's going to be a United Nations Day in our school system. Hopefully, those of you who have children, those of you who want to be a part of it, please participate. There's about 96 different nationalities in this country. Thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Davis. Under your administration, our city suffered from 3 embarrassing high-profile federal cases of corruption that led to theft of millions of taxpayer dollars and convictions, including that of your planning commissioner. Do you honestly feel that you deserve another term as mayor?
I don't know how one thing has anything to do with the other. I don't know any administration, including the one that exists now, where some people will not do what they are supposed to do. If you want to talk about the things that went bad, let's talk about the things that went well. You enjoying a surplus because of Sanford Boulevard. People have housing. People have the roundabout. People have a low crime rate. People have a lot of things. Mount Vernon progressed more in 12 years that I was in office and the controller was the controller than any other time in its recent history. So let's be balanced. If somebody did something wrong, that's one thing. It was not Ernie Davis, and I take responsibility as the chief executive office, but I will not make a meal out of people who did something wrong. Let's talk about what went right, and let's talk about what we can do better. That's what I'm doing.
Please, I do ask that we not be applauding between questions. It's wasting all of our time. Ms. Walker, for at least a decade, you have worked during the workday between 2 and 4 p.m. teaching at Iona College 3 days a week. This is a violation of the city charter. Do you agree that the citizens of our city are entitled to reimbursement for this theft of services?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem in our country in educating our children. First of all, I am 24 hours, 7 days a week. I'm an elected official, so I work around the clock. For 20 years, I have been a part of the solution to this problem of education. For 20 years, I have taught in the public schools in Mount Vernon. I have taught junior achievement. I have read to the children. I have done courses with the children in the high school. I have taught at Iona College at various times in the evenings, and it hasn't been for 17 years. I believe in giving back to the community what I was blessed to receive, and that's the good education. A lot of my students are residents of Mount Vernon, and I am very proud to have taught them so that they can come back to this community to serve us well.
That's right.
I've heard complaints. I'm not calling everybody by their honorifics. I apologize. I will begin now. I am sorry. So I do apologize for that, and I apologize to the audience. So thank you for your input. Okay. Mayor Young, why was it so important? So this is a three-part question. Why was it so important for you to hire an inspector general when you came into office? And how has the appointment of this inspector general prevented corruption from your administration?
It was very important to hire an inspector general for additional internal controls. When you come into office, not knowing and coming again, and I'm not going to harp on it, but it bears repeating. I came into office at a time that Mount Vernon was under investigation. There were pending indictments. $4 million was missing. $4 million was stolen from this city. The prudent thing to do, $4 million was stolen from the city of Mount Vernon. The prudent thing to do was to come in and make sure that the books were okay. I not only asked for an inspector general position, and I'm very happy to have worked with the city council to make sure that that position was funded. The inspector general came in and I think did a terrific job. Now, what happened too? I also asked that we have a state audit from the controller's office for certain areas that presented concern to me.
Thank you. Okay, this is another round robin. One question, all four candidates will answer. This question is submitted by Danny O'Grady, current president of the Police Association. That's right. Okay. The question is, the collective bargaining agreement with the city's police department expired 2 years ago. Negotiations with the police union have stalled because the city claims it is financially unable to provide a cost of living increase. The crime rate in the city is dangerously high, and the morale among police officers, who are the lowest paid police officers in Westchester, despite working in the most dangerous community in the county, is low. How do you intend to remedy this problem and come to terms with the police union?
I am very cognizant that the contract hasn't been negotiated over the last 2 years. But I know for a fact, because of politics, it won't be negotiated until probably after the election. I'm not running for the next election, I'm running for this election. I will sit down, if I'm blessed to become your mayor, in the first 30 days to sit down and negotiate a contract with one of our most important unions and enforcement initiatives or entities in our city. But understand, all unions, understand we are in some trying times. Understand that we are probably in the worst condition in the United States since the 1930s. When you come to the table, understanding that, then we can negotiate in good faith. I cannot give away the city's funds because the citizens are the ones that pay the taxes to pay your salaries. So understand that we will have to negotiate in good faith, and if we negotiate in good faith, we will come up with a solution. Thank you.
Former Mayor Kirby Davis. The collective bargaining agreement with the city's police department expired 2 years ago. Negotiations have stalled because the city claims it is financially unable to provide the cost of living increase. Crime rate is dangerously high, and morale among police officers is low. They are the lowest paid police officers in Westchester. How do you intend to remedy this problem and come to terms with the police union?
Well, maybe if we didn't buy so many trucks, we could. Not just the police, no civil service, CSEA, nobody has a contract. So maybe we have prioritized our things in different orders. I have never, in 12 years, have been put in this position. The first thing you have to do is see where the money is. Sit down with the police. One thing, the police has always been cooperative. We have a certain amount of money. This is what I can give you, and we go on. But to have them linger and depend on them to service your community is just not wise. So what we have to do is sit down in good faith, put the budget out on the table. The police, fire, and intelligence, they have never fought me when there's money on the table. They understand, and they're good citizens. So negotiate in good faith, and I'm sure they will understand.
As the controller of a financially stable city that allows us not to lay off police and fire and other employees, I have negotiated many contracts for the police and fire, and I've always negotiated them in good faith. Many times I have been branded for giving back to the workers when times are good. And I can say to you, and I can say to the police, we have appropriated funds in the budget, as we always do, in the contingency fund, so that police and fire and DPW and CSEA can get fair increases. Unfortunately, there are some members of the administration and some of the department's heads that have chosen to use those funds for other things. But we have, in good faith, my office has in good faith always appropriated funds to make sure that the unions get their fair due. And I will continue to do that. And as mayor, I will...
Thank you, Ms. Walker.
and foremost, I do not agree with the content of the question. Our police department is probably what I consider to be the very best in Westchester County. The morale is not low. We've been at the table. We continue to talk. We will continue to do so in good faith. We are about to wrap up, hopefully next week, the fire department's contract. I have been pro-labor my entire elected career, which is why I stand before you as the endorsed candidate of the Central Labor Body of Westchester Putnam, AFL-CIO. I am the endorsed candidate for labor in this city and in this county.
Who sits on the board of it? Who did the endorsement? I didn't tell you that.
Just an FYI, we did save time since Mr. Williams didn't have a contender. So, we will extend the mayoral questions by 5 minutes. Okay? We have a lot of good questions. I'll give you an extra minute later. Okay, Councilman Edwards. As City Council President, you marched lockstep with Comptroller Walker. What differences are there between you and her? You and she. And why will you be a better mayor than Comptroller Walker?
I'm not understanding the word lockstep. I did not vote on every issue that came before the City Council, before the Board of Estimate. My job as Council President was to come with the understanding that it was coming from the Council. I did not come there with one vote. I came there with 4 other votes. So we negotiated during the times of our work sessions. Before I would have that Tuesday or Monday, Tuesday I believe, it was Tuesday Board of Ethics. I came there with 4 other votes besides my own. There were times when I voted against what the Comptroller wanted, and I also voted against what the Mayor wanted. But the thing was, I came with 4 other votes. It wasn't just mine. That's not the job of the Council President. Thank you.
Okay. Former Mayor Davis, do you know why you lost the mayoral election? And if so, can you explain?
Well, the short answer is more people voted against me than for me. And they regret it. Let me just say that, and I'm not here to hate on anybody or regurgitate history. I am running because I love the city. I'm running because the most successful span in this history of the city was under my administration. I'm running because people came to me for me to run. I accepted that challenge. This is a terrible time, a trying time. You have to have somebody who can hit the ground running. Nobody else can do that the way I can.
Okay, signs down, folks. Comptroller Walker, what will you do about the crime rate in the city of Mount Vernon?
Crime rate has to be handled in various ways. And there are several things that I will do. Number 1, I will implement or re-implement the PAL, which is the Police Athletic League, that was cut from the budget in 2009. I will look back at the DARE program and try to bring that back, because police officers who work in the DARE program go to the schools and help our children and teach our children. I will look at things like, for example, police community, who have our police officers on the street, make sure that they get into the schools, make sure that the children and the young people know them. And the most important thing, continue to go to the schools so as to educate our children. Our children need recreational facilities. If they have good recreational facilities, they will be occupied and they will learn to know what is right from wrong. So there's several things I would do as mayor.
Please vote here. Seriously, for our time. Mayor Young, I have read, personally, okay. The questioner has read a lot about new development in Mount Vernon. The questioner has read a lot about new development in Mount Vernon. Can you tell us how it will affect our economy and particularly our tax rates? And how do these developments fit into the comprehensive plan? When will that plan be released?
Okay, that plan will be released next week. It's called the comprehensive plan. It is a plan for growth and development in the city of Mount Vernon. We've not had such a plan since 1964, and that was before man walked on the moon. So I'm saying to you, we have put that plan in place. My game plan, my business plan for growth and development in the city of Mount Vernon was very simple. We had to come in, we had to clean up the city. We had to get the crime reduced. We have in the pipeline, and again, this is fact, we have in the pipeline and presently being developed close to $500 million in proposed development that we are vetting. That creates jobs. Secondly, for every apartment or house that is built, it provides $21,000 of disposable income in the community. Meaning you will go to the corner cleaners, you will patronize that deli. $21,000 additional dollars being poured into our economy, which would equate to additional sales tax. That's what I'm doing, creating jobs to stimulate this economy.
We have time for 2 more questions. So what we're going to do is do our round robin, and we're going to ask one question for all of you to answer. Councilman Edwards. All of the candidates are promising to cut taxes. After cutting administrative expenses, insufficient savings, which citizen services, youth, aging, police, fire, DPW, etc., will you cut?
I won't plan at this time to cut any of the things that are necessary. What I would like to do is have a pie chart of all of what we pay for in our taxes. If there's things that the citizens come up with, if they don't want to have their street swept every week, I'm willing to sweep my street to save money. If I'm willing to take my garbage somewhere to save money. If you are willing, the people, to cut certain things out of the budget, and then we'll work that out. But when you find out what your taxes are paying for, you'll probably be willing to pay it, but you just don't know exactly what your taxes are going for. But if there are some things that we can cut, let's talk about it, let's get a commission together and work on it as one body, as one united Mount Vernon.
I think that's a dangerous question to ask because, number one, it does not recognize where most of the money is going. 63 cents out of every dollar goes to the schools. You can cut city taxes all you want to. It will not make that much difference on your tax bill. Understand that. What we need to do is start to correlate our efforts with the schools so they can start cutting, so we can share services with them. I propose that we have 3 seats on the board of trustees from the city. That will make the Board of Education responsible to the city and vice versa. So let's talk about cutting. When you talk about cutting, don't cut the little things that affect their quality of life. Start looking at the educational system that is burning up money. That is the problem, not necessarily the city.
All of the candidates are promising to cut taxes. After cutting administrative expenses, fire, DPW, etc. will you cut?
First of all, we have to learn to live within our means. The city of Mount Vernon is a financially stable city, and we have to understand that there's a lot of unnecessary spending. We have a lot of jobs that people have been hired and they don't show up for work. And we also have a lot of high salaries of which we don't get the on the backs of the taxpayers. We have to learn to make sure that the funds that they give to us, we spend it wisely. As an astute controller, and one who will be an astute mayor, who has financial knowledge, I know that I can manage that budget. I know that we can spend those dollars wisely, at the same time provide the services that the people of this city deserve. Please.
Okay. To address the question in terms of cost-saving measures and addressing the tax issue, the first thing you have to do, you have to manage this on a daily basis. It's not reporting the numbers, it's how you manage. We have decreased overtime in this city under my administration 47%. Decreased overtime. The second is, you don't always depend on the taxpayers for revenue. We've gone to Albany. We've gone to Washington to get additional funding that are not Mount Vernon taxpayers' dollars to keep programs going. Like the fact of the matter is we hired 200 young people for summer jobs this summer, the most in Westchester County, because we went to D.C. and got the money. We did not try to burden you. We tried, in many ways, not try to burden you. Then the other thing that's most important, stop having the money being stolen out of City Hall. That's the thing that you do in order to keep the taxpayers' dollars down. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Last question. It's a two-part question. We have two jewels. Well, three, come on here. Two jewels in the city of Mount Vernon. One is, of course, the Mount Vernon Library, which is the central library for the Westchester Library System. And the second, of course, is Mount Vernon Hospital, which offers comprehensive services. What is your commitment to maintaining both of these jewels in our city and ensuring the support for their future?
Firstly, the citizens of Mount Vernon have to understand, in 2012, the library will be going under a referendum that you will be voting on their budget. They would no longer come under the city of Mount Vernon. But in the meantime, we have given Mount Vernon Library as much money as you, the citizens, will allow us to give. We cannot give them any more at this particular time, but what we ask them to do is be fiscally conservative, or more conservative than they've been in the past. As far as the Mount Vernon Hospital is concerned, I promise to sit on that board and make sure that I'm at every meeting, making sure that I report back to you, the citizens, what exactly is going on. But I asked the Mount Vernon Hospital to associate themselves with the Mount Vernon Health Center, which is almost like a hospital and probably services more people than the Mount Vernon Hospital actually does. But I asked them to come together as a conglomerate and along with Sound Shore that they do the right thing for the citizens of Mount Vernon. But Mount Vernon, you must use Mount Vernon Hospital because they go by zip code and most of the people do not come out of Mount Vernon that go to that hospital. Thank you.
Okay, wait, don't give the mic away. Yes or no question. Do you use the Mount Vernon Hospital?
Fortunately, I'm a veteran. I go to the Veterans Hospital on King. So that's fortunate. So I don't actually have to use your tax dollars to service me. The Veterans Administration Hospital services me.
Thank you. Okay. This is it. Former Mayor Davis. Two jewels in Mount Vernon, counting our library, which is the central library of the Westchester Library System, and Mount Vernon Hospital. What will you do to ensure their future?
First of all, the two jewels are not in control of the city. The library is a school library, and the school trustees appoints the school board appoints the trustees to the library. But when I was in office, we circumvented a lot of that by interceding in fixing roads, painting, and restoring it. The hospital is a tough issue because it's a governance. Unfortunately, the trustees of the hospital control that hospital, and it is not, in my opinion, been kind to the services in Mount Vernon. What has happened over the years is that the newer shelf has taken all of the services out of Mount Vernon and sent it to the newer shelf. So there's a lot of work we have to do. Mount Vernon probably will end up being a different type of hospital than it is now.
And a follow-up question, yes or no, do you use the Mount Vernon Hospital?
Contrary to what my opponents might say, I don't go to the hospital often, but if I did have to go, I certainly would go to the Mount Vernon Hospital.
I have had Vernon Library. I have always provided funds for the Mount Vernon Library. Last year, actually this year earlier, the Mount Vernon was in a deficit the library was in a deficit for $250,000. My office came to the aid of the library when no one else would. And we were able to save the workers so that they did not lose their jobs, and we were able to make sure that they have the funds to open that library. I have always used that library, so it was important for me to make sure that the library continues in the state. In terms of the hospital, my commitment has always been to the hospital, but I cannot understand being a member of the board of the hospital and you do not know when the hospital is in progress. The mayor sits on that board. In any board I sit on, I have a voice on that board for the people of the city. And in answering your question as to whether I do use the hospital, I always use the hospital.
That's right!
Hold on. We're going to allow Mayor Young a 1-minute rebuttal.
1 minute rebuttal? About the hospital? Oh, okay. If you want to give me that 1 minute, I'll be happy to take it. First and foremost, the hospital decline didn't start again on January 1st of 2008. I do have a seat on the hospital board. Let me tell you what was happening. That hospital was on the verge of closing because of prior negotiations with South Shore Medical Center. I didn't just sit on the board and just keep that information to myself in terms of what was happening, of the possibility of Mount Vernon Hospital closing. I brought the community together. Fortunately, we came out in support, and I marched with 1199 so that we could keep Mount Vernon Hospital open. I went to Albany, I went to Washington, and in Albany, along with State Assemblyman Gary Pretlow and State Senator Ruth Hassel Thompson, we were able to get $55 million to keep Mount Vernon Hospital open. I'm saying to you, you told me I could have an extra minute.
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
Okay, the point I'm making is this. As mayor, I went and we got the $55 million. Yes, indeed, I do use Mount Vernon Hospital, and I'm happy to know the controller uses Mount Vernon Hospital, but I sure didn't see her in Albany when it was time to get the money to keep Mount Vernon Hospital open. I didn't see that. I have always been a big supporter of the Mount Vernon Libraries. In fact, I've worked with the libraries board of their foundation board to raise additional monies for the library. I've encouraged them to go out and not just be dependent on what they get from the city of Mount Vernon. Seek alternative funding, and I use the city as an example. When it was time to get additional funding for our young people, we went out and we beat the walls, the doors, and the halls of Albany and Washington to get additional money. I was trying to encourage the library to do the same thing. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our mayoral section. Each candidate gets a 1-minute closing statement. We're going to continue with the order of candidates that we've been using. So, Councilman Edwards.
Again, I would like to thank the Cleveland Neighborhood Association, and in the beginning I did not thank the Mount Vernon Chamber of Commerce. But as you as citizens, you see we do have a problem here. And if you elect me your mayor, I promise to help with the solution to that problem. I would like us to get Mount Vernon moving again, okay? You deserve better, your neighbors deserve better, your children deserve better, and we as a city of Mount Vernon deserve better. I promise you, if you put your confidence in me and elect me as your mayor, I will get Mount Vernon moving again. And I would like to thank my colleagues because I feel blessed to be sitting up with such distinguished citizens that want to serve you and this great city of Mount Vernon. Thank you, and God bless you too. Thank you.
I again want to thank the Fleetwood Neighborhood Association. I think this is a very good part of our community participation. Much of what you heard was not true. Not on my part. Ask yourself just one question. Are you better off today than you were before? That's all you have to do. Politicians would get up and say anything, and they would try to defer your concerns to other things. They will try to cloud the issue. But the issue is, can we afford 4 more years of the 4 years that we Mount Vernon was at its best when Maureen Walker was controller and Ernie Davis was mayor.
Of all the candidates in the race for mayor of Mount Vernon, I am undoubtedly the most qualified, the most experienced, and the one most capable of making a positive contribution to the growth, development, and well-being of our city. I represent the hope and the future of Mount Vernon. Your vote will be crucial to the direction our city takes. As your mayor, my first priority will be on the people's business, rather than on cheap political agendas that have been instrumental